Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, we're going to react to a dad trying not to cry when his kidnapped daughter is finally found. This has got to be like the worst thing that you can honestly go through as a parent. Probably only second to actually losing the child, to death. But, having your child, taken, kidnapped, has got to be the worst. If any of you guys haven't seen the movie Prisoners with Hugh Jackman and Terrence Howard, I really recommend it. Honestly, it's absolutely incredible. But yeah, honestly, I don't know why the dad was trying not to cry. God forbid, if it were me, God forbid, I would just let it out, man. The feeling of finding your daughter again, finally, would just be overwhelming.
Where are you going now, Tim? Are you
Is that her in the car? Oh, no, he's going to get her.
This is the father of Leah Henry, the 11-year-old girl who was abducted on May 1st, 2001. Minutes before this footage was filmed, Tim received a call from the FBI. His daughter has been found, but he doesn't know more. March 4th, 2001, 200 miles away from where Leah lives, 9-year-old Nikki is playing outside her home in San Antonio when she's abducted in broad daylight. After a massive ground and air search from police in the community, the girl reappears in front of her mother's house. Her captor dropped her off before he disappeared. April 16th, 1 month later, 11-year-old Lisa is playing jump rope with her sister in her front yard when a man snatches her off the street. The horrified young sister describes the suspect as a white male driving a white hatchback. 2 weeks later, the girl reappears. Her captor vanishes. In 2001,
white male driving a white hatchback. I mean, that doesn't help him at all, really, to narrow it. Ooh.
Serial kidnapper is terrorizing the states of Texas and Louisiana, evading police for months, hunting children where they live. But on May 1st, 11-year-old Leah Henry will become the last victim of this predator. She will forever be known as the girl who escaped and brought him down.
Nice, they caught him.
The year is 2001. In the suburb near southwest Houston, 11-year-old Leah lives a normal and happy life with her loving family. Excited about the end of the school year, she's unaware that since the month of March, there's been a growing number of kidnappings in the neighboring cities. May 1st, 2001, at around 7:30 a.m., Leah gets on her bus, excited about getting to class, as there will be a celebration that day. It's 5 p.m., and Leah's mother calls her dad in a panic, worried that she hasn't come home yet. They check with the school, call her friends, drive around the neighborhood, but their daughter is nowhere to be found. One neighbor claims he saw Leah earlier that day, getting into a car with a man. Police are called, and relatives join the search across the city. May 2nd, Leah has been missing for almost 24 hours. The FBI joins the search, and Leah's parents go on television, begging the public for help. Nearly 200 volunteers flood in and form a ground search. Police find out about 2 previous kidnappings with eerie similarities to Leah's case. A white middle-aged man driving a white hatchback is hunting girls between 9 and 11. But
I just don't understand why these sick bastards do this. Why do they do this? Is it just for amusement? Is it for, sex or that kind of thing? Is it why? Why? I don't get it.
Captor has been evading police for months, and they still have no idea who he is. With every passing hour, the likelihood of finding Leah alive decreases. May 4th, it's been 3 days since Leah's abduction. At around 11 a.m., Leah's father Tim gets a phone call from the FBI.
Where are you going now, Tim? Are you driving up there?
More than 250 miles away, at the Kerr County Sheriff's Department, Tim and his family are escorted into a secure room, where they learn the incredible news. Leah Henry has been found, alive, but visibly upset. The whereabouts of her captor are not yet disclosed to the family. As she is brought home surrounded by her parents and her big sister, a cheering crowd awaits her safe return. The young girl is smiling, yet her eyes hide the truth of what happened to her. As the news of her rescue is broadcasted to the world,
I really hope she wasn't abused in any kind of way, honestly. I really hope not.
Only she can shed light on the nightmare she just went through. But before we hear her side of the story, there's something you should know. A few months ago, we covered the story of Christine Belford, the first victim of cyberstalking leading to murder in American history, when the Matusewicz family hired friends and neighbors to stalk the single mom. That story showcased the terrifying truth of online privacy, that we never know who has access to our information online. Predators are finding new and clever ways to get your personal data, and with new technologies like AI, it's becoming harder than ever to keep up. This is why Unseen has partnered with NordVPN. Behind every new true crime story, Leah Henry. Her story begins on May 1st, as she arrives home from school.
When my bus driver pulled up to my stop, I started to walk.
So that's her.
A white car started to approach, and a man asked me if I babysit.
Leah knows not to talk to strangers, so she politely says no and continues to walk home. A little further down the street, as she begins to see her house, the man pulls up onto the sidewalk in front of her, his car blocking her from reaching the other side. He asks her if she would like to meet his children.
He was in normal clothes, he had glasses on. He was very friendly, nice to me. I felt like I was just with a normal dad.
Just why are you talking like this guy to some young kid that you don't know? Like, it's crazy. You want your kid to be able to walk home from school by themselves and be independent, but now you've got to be worried about stuff like this happening. It's just like...
We're okay.
After a few minutes of conversation, Leah accepts and gets into the car. As he drives off, the man reaches over her and breaks off the door handle. Leah is taken aback. She can feel something is wrong, but she's only 11 and can't yet figure out what the man's intentions are.
As soon as he pulls into the back alleyway of the local restaurant, I knew something bad was happening. I felt like I was going to be hurt.
The man pulls out a gun and duct tape and begins to tie her ankles together, her hands behind her back and her mouth shut. Then he orders her to duck down before driving off again. For what seems like an eternity, Leah is crouching in a car with a stranger, helpless, each minute getting further and further away from her home, and her mind is racing, terrified of what's going to happen next. She can't see outside, but the dying sunlight has disappeared hours ago. Finally, at around 11 p.m., the car stops. From what Leah can see, they're in the middle of an open field, in a parking lot on the side of a highway. No one around can see what's happening inside the car.
He told me to crawl in the back, take my clothes off. I didn't know what was happening to me. I tried to scream, I tried to grab things that could, if I pinched it hard enough, every other bit of pain would go away. But when he was done, I started crying.
When he was done?
As they get back on the road, the car isn't going very fast, and she considers the broken handle of the car door. She doesn't know if she can force it open, but this could be her only chance to escape. With her hands still tied behind her back, she throws herself at the door and scrambles blindly to try and open it. To no avail. The man sees her attempt and calmly tells her, "You'll pay for that." Not long after, he pulls over again, and as he puts it, punishes her for her behavior. He makes it clear that if she gets caught again, the punishment will be severe.
At that point, after everything had happened, I just felt like giving up. I felt like this was gonna kill me.
Late into the night, Leah can see the man driving up to a small hunting cabin. He then makes her walk inside at gunpoint and ties her hands above her head, this time with rope. He places the gun on top of the TV and deadbolts the door. And again,
for me, people who commit crimes against children are the worst of the worst. No mercy. No mercy whatsoever. At all. Get rid of all of them.
he forces himself on Leah.
He started to hit me and beat me, and I couldn't do anything. And I had nobody around to be there for me. I remember falling asleep, still tied up.
On the first morning of her captivity, Leah wakes up as the man is tying her up to a table with a zip tie. He warns her that if she tries to escape, he would go after her family, or he would come and find her. After her punishment the night before, Leah is scared to death of what would happen if she disobeyed. And then, the man takes off, bolting the door shut from the outside. Leah is now alone, tied up, in the middle of nowhere. She tries to remove her binds and figures out how to wiggle out of the zip tie. Now free to move around the cabin, she considers leaving through the window. but fear takes over.
I was too afraid of everything outside of the cabin, thinking that everyone in the area was like him, or that if I was found, someone else would hurt me and it would be worse. At that time, I started thinking about my family.
Leah can't imagine what's going through her father's mind. She is crushed at the thought of her parents worried sick at home, searching tirelessly and never finding her.
I wanted them to look for me, but part of me didn't want them to hurt.
As the sun begins to set on May 2nd, the man returns. Leah hears him pull up on the driveway and quickly gets back into her binds.
I remember him bringing home a newspaper that had my sister on it. And she was staring at it with this empty look. And all I wanted to do was comfort her.
The heartbreaking picture also comes as a relief, knowing that her parents are doing everything they can to find her. The man taunts her, telling her they will eventually give up, but he only fuels her determination.
I held on to the fact that they were looking for me.
These people who do stuff like this, that kidnap kids, like, are they born with some defective part of their brain? Or is it like, you know, things that they go through that make them do stuff like this? I just, you know, I don't feel like, I want to understand why. Like, why?
If they can fight, I can fight.
Leah makes the decision that she will do everything she can to make it out alive, but she knows she's dealing with a sick and twisted mind, so she will have to do everything he asks until she is free. On the second morning, the man leaves again, and Leah wiggles out of her zip ties again. This time, she takes out the camera that she has in her school bag.
I think that's the first time I decided that I needed to make note of everything that was happening to me. Because if someone was going to find me, they needed evidence.
Leah
Really
takes
smart,
pictures of
really
everything.
smart kid.
The inside of the cabin, the bruises on her body, the place she is tied up at, the surroundings outside. She also takes out her agenda and begins writing down in detail everything she...
Isn't she like 9 or something at the time? She's really, really smart for her age.
...through. She might be too weak to fight him off, but she can outsmart him in her own way.
Or 10.
When the night
like
comes, the man returns to find Leah back in her zip ties. Leah knows what is waiting for her, that like the previous night, the man will do unspeakable things to her, but she needs to stay strong for her family. On the third morning, Leah wakes up to the sound of ruckus outside. She's alone, but doesn't dare move. After an hour, the man runs back inside and tells her to put her clothes on and grab her stuff. They are leaving.
I didn't know what was going on, but I knew he was feeling closed in on. The newspapers kept telling us that they kind of knew who this guy was.
The man puts a pillowcase over her head and guides her out
Those glasses that he wears kind of reminds me of Jeffrey Dahmer.
of the car. All she can see is sunlight shining through. He sits her in the back of the vehicle and starts the car.
I'm sitting there wondering what's about to happen to me. Is he gonna take me somewhere? Or is this about to get a whole lot worse?
At that moment, Leah hears tires rolling up on the gravel. The man gets out and tells her to stay quiet. Leah has no idea what is happening outside and who is coming up the driveway.
I received a call from dispatch that somebody thought they might have seen the suspect vehicle.
Sergeant Beleader of the Kerr County Sheriff's Department investigates the tip, bringing him to an isolated cabin in Kerrville, nearly 300 miles from the city of Houston.
When I got down the road, I saw a vehicle, but it wasn't the right color, and it had the wrong license plate on it.
Beleader knows to look for a white hatchback, yet finds a red car parked down the driveway. What he doesn't know is, just minutes earlier, suspect Gary Dale Cox was painting his car from white to red.
So that's
Sergeant Beleader is about to leave, but he has no idea he's just a few feet away from the serial kidnapper.
I saw somebody in the car. I thought, well, I'll go tell them what I'm doing on their property.
As the police officer approaches the parked vehicle, the man gets out of the car with a gun in his hands. Leah is crouching inside, out of sight. She can hear a stranger's voice yelling, "Drop the gun," over and over.
Scream.
She knows it's a
Yell.
cop, but she's afraid, terrified that there's going to be a shootout. Leah remains still, waiting. She can hear the footsteps of the man moving away from the car. Her mind is racing.
It all happened so fast that I really had no time to think, and I just did it.
Next thing she knows, she's running outside toward the cop car. If anyone shoots, she will be in the crossfire, but she doesn't stop. When Beleader tells her to get in the back seat, she doesn't hesitate.
My mind is going 90 miles an hour. I felt like my best course of action then was try to get out of there.
As he's driving backwards down the driveway, Leah hears gunshots. The officer tells her to duck down, expecting any second a bullet to hit the vehicle. Then he grabs his police radio and calls for backup.
I said, I've got the girl and I'm leaving.
300 miles away, in Houston, Leah's father Tim gets a phone call from the FBI.
Intense, man.
We found her. She's alive. I dropped the phone. We just jumped up. Police officer was there. Within 5 minutes, we were out of the house, down to the FBI headquarters.
A local pilot volunteers to fly Tim and his family the 300 miles to Kerrville.
Awesome.
At the same time, Leah is escorted back to the sheriff's department and a
It's so nice just to see people coming together and helping each other, you know. I wish that we did more of that. Like, the world would be such a nicer place if everyone just did what they could for each other, you know?
car.
I don't know if I felt safe yet. And I think what I needed was to be held by my family, because that was the only thing that was going to make me understand that it was truly over.
At the Kerr County Sheriff's Department, Leah is reunited with her mom and dad and her big sister. Tim hugs his daughter tightly, relieved to finally have her back.
I don't think I've ever been that happy. And that's true. I can't ever think of another moment in life that has brought that kind of joy to me.
I remember giving her the longest hug. She's here. I still have my sister here.
Leah's sister, whose picture gave her strength in her darkest moment, regains her smile. Leah is finally happy. Just a few miles away, Sergeant Beliter and the entire county police force are closing in on Gary Dale Cox's cabin. As it turns out, Cox took the easy way out.
And once we went up and approached the house, we found the suspect.
Damn. Oh man, I really wanted him to rot in jail. Ugh.
Lying outside beside the passenger side of the vehicle with one gunshot wound to the head.
It's good that he's not around anymore, that he can't do that to
That's
anyone
true.
else. But I really wish that I would have had a say in it and that he would have hurt as much as me and the other girls hurt.
Absolutely.
When we
The
drove up
humiliation
to my
of court
house,
and everything.
there were so many people. I had an uncontrollable smile on my face, literally. And everyone was showing me so much love and support.
I am extremely proud of Leah after everything she's gone through. She's really pushed herself to be successful and happy.
It's been 22 years since her ordeal, and Leah Henry has taken back her life. She followed her dream of becoming a marine biologist and continues to share her story with the world.
My life actually feels complete and happy and something worth living for.
Leah Henry's journey is one of hope and resilience. At just 11 years old, she looked evil in the eye and survived.
It's really important that people realize that life is scary sometimes, but that, you know, there are ways to recover, there are ways to get through things, and there are ways to help yourself understand that you don't need to give up. And I was so set on getting home back to my family. It was gonna happen, no matter what.
Man, getting choked up a little bit. Goodness, what a story. Unbelievable, honestly, unbelievable story. So glad that she was found, you know, like, so glad she was found, because there's so many of these stories that end up in much, much worse fashions, you know, much worse. Maybe they get found, but they've been awfully abused, you know, maybe they'd never get found, you know, or maybe they're found dead. It's just, I just don't know why certain people are capable of doing this and want to do this. I just don't know why. Like, is it a disease of the mind? Is it some kind of, you know, are they born without some kind of like self-regulating like part of the brain? Is it trauma that they went through? I don't know, you know, it's just, honestly, but yeah, I'm just really happy she was found. I was getting quite emotional towards the end there. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.